here. I didn't even mean to press record. I was just really talking and like practicing. But anyway, um, pros and cons of social work because let's be real, we're not going to talk about social work as this being, this glamorous degree. I've been saying that a lot recently about the field. Also, I've been trying to get really in depth with saying, you know, the behind the scenes and stuff. And you know, this video along with any other video I'm doing is it's called Real Talk from a social work perspective. I am a social worker. Where I reflect, on realities and insights and career experience in the social work profession. And today I want to talk about something really important because what I truly love about the work I do in this field, like any profession, you have pros and cons. So I did take some notes. So if you see me looking back and forth because um want me to that I'm giving you exactly what I have noticed, what I talk about with my colleagues, what I have experienced, um, and what what's happening now in the world. So um because why I truly love this field is why I know that it needs to be always said in any profession, that you're gonna find, the good, the bad, the ugly, as they say. And if someone's considering entering this field, or even, if you're already working on it, I think it's really important to talk honestly about both sides of the experience. One of the biggest advantages of social work is the opportunity to make a real impact. Some social workers, support families, like I've always said, communities, you know, um, really aspiring and doing a lot of people important, moments in their lives. And sometimes the support means helping someone find stability. It can mean advocating for, resources. Sometimes it just means simply just sitting down listening to, you know, um, someone and guiding them in the right direction. And I want to say simply, but I think you get the gist of it. The sense of purpose is something that many social workers value deeply. I know I do as a social worker, as I've always said, it's just a feeling you have when you see someone coming for the first time and really in a traumatic space, and to find a space and peace because you have asked the right questions, you have provided the right resources, you have listened at the right time. And like I said, that sense of purpose is like no other, to see that. So another, of course, part is another major benefits of social worker is the number of directions the profession can go into. I have touched on that in other videos about, research, policy, um, leadership roles, you know, conducting research in communities, have them grow, building communities from scratch, you know, um, like I said before, working in government, you know, believe it or not, there were therapists and social workers in the White House. And I'm pretty sure, okay, maybe at the moment, no. I don't know. Lord knows we need to be there, but listen, you know if you know, okay? So, but uh, many social workers need to discover that the degree will always allow them to build a career where they reflect their passions and interests. And I say this because this part is because and I'll probably say it again and again and again. I wish I would have had videos like this to be able to navigate way earlier in my career, my passion and love. for a lot of things in social work because I definitely would have who knows how far further along I would have been. I don't regret anything that I've have done in my career and the steps I've taken, but I just know that if I would have had more, you know, opportunities or more ways to really like word and search and really get into the beauty of what I do now, I think I definitely would have been um further along in certain things. And that's just not to say I regret what I do, because I don't. But you know how sometimes you be like, "Dang, why I didn't think about that 10 years ago?" You know, sometimes this wasn't the time and stuff like that. But I guess it's a time now for me to blow up, and it's all good. It's all love. Um, Now with that being said, um, one of the more challenging aspects of social work is the emotional responsibility that comes with the work. Social workers often support people who are navigate, like I said, different circumstances. And hearing these stories, you know, and helping people through these circumstances and situations requires empathy, patience, emotional awareness. And it's important for social workers to develop these like healthy boundaries and self-care practices in order to continue doing work sustainably. And look, how often you say, gonna take a vacation or you're gonna take time off just because? Because if you don't, you'll find yourself in situations where you're gonna come um, in difficult moments and not be able to concentrate, not be able to deal with your client, your staff, you know, demands of, getting paperwork or presentation or anything you're doing in your field. People will notice. People notice a change. They will notice that you are not taking care of yourself. And we are our worst advocate because how often do we tell people constantly to take care of themselves, to, you know, create safety plans for them, to research ideas for them to be able to better themselves and have a sustainable livelihood. And here we go, just coming home, doing the same mundane everything every day to go back to work to make sure that either environment that's around our people are clean or are safe, are productive. And all we're doing is itching by every day and not taking care of ourselves. Having great staff, having great teams. I've always said that, in environments where your supervisor encouraged you to take time off. You don't feel like you're working on prison needs if you call out and you don't feel good. Leaving early from work and going to a Broadway play or, just going home and having a full 8 hours of sleep. You know, um, those can play a big role in how much you prepare to continue living your job. I worked around burnt out social workers and we easily will say that is being lazy and being negative opposed to them being burnt out because you that's how it looks. And um it's it's always easy to say, but it's necessary to do. And I'm gonna stop there because the point of the video wasn't to talk about pros and cons, but I have tons of videos I'm gonna be talking about self-care and the importance of it being in the mental health, being in this helping service, social service field. So another challenge that we face is, of course, spirits working through and navigating systems. Resources, policies, and services can sometimes get complex and difficult for people as to access them. You know, um, and we play a big role in playing and helping individuals like move through these systems and find the support they need. That work requires persistence and problem solving, you know, um, and though sometimes those systems don't help us to properly navigate to help the client and to reassure them that they're gonna get the right assistance is good to still know the systems, but also a double-edged sword is like when we are told no, is always walls being blocked, you know, and how you deal with that as a, a social worker, as a helping professional, because 9 out of 10, they're gonna come to you and be upset. They're gonna come to you and blame you because it's easier to blame you than blame the bigger system above you, and that's something that, you will deal with a lot. And how do you react to that when it happens? Because it will happen, especially working in the nonprofit sector, working in, government offices, where, people are constantly going to come in every day and need services. And sometimes, especially in the current climate we're in, where things are being cut and paused, what do we do? We have to always find a different direction for them to be able to sustain, you know? Um, why do we stay in this field? You know? Why? Why I'm asking, why do we choose this field? The work is meaningful. I will keep saying that. Yes, it is. You do see growth, you do see resilience, you see people finding their path, moving forward, and for many professionals in this field, those moments is what makes, you know, the work so worth it, you know, and it happens more than you know, but, the in between, when it doesn't happen, is until you make a consistent pushback, consistent, negativity, consistent drawbacks from the system, from the residents, from your staff, from you not taking care of yourself. You know, what do you do in between those times when you do have incredible rewarding moments? Um, so when people ask whether this profession is a good career, the honest answer is that the profession comes with both opportunities and challenges. And whatever profession or career you're in now, it's gonna be the same. It really is. Even if you're creating your own, it will have opportunities, it will have challenges. But for those who are passionate about helping others, advocating for communities, and creating positive change, social work can deeply be a fulfilling path. If you're a social worker watching this, I'd love to hear from you. I truly do. Um, what would you say is the biggest pros and cons of a profession? I would love to hear in the comments. Thank you for listening to me, of course. This is LaKenya Tam. This is a Real Talk with a Social Worker series under my empowerment click. If you've been following me for some time, you know I always got a vibe check. And this is sort of vibe check too as well, but this is social work month. If you didn't understand, March is social work month, and I just been going ham about the profession that I have been in since 2015 as getting my degree. But I've been a social worker way before then, but just officially became a social worker in 2015. And happy Social Workers Month to everyone who is in this field, who is looking to get into this field. I would definitely love to hear why you want to get here, what's gravitating you to come in. Also, um, what have you been doing to research to see if this is a good fit for you? Have an amazing day and peace out.